Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jelly and it's Agriculture 101. So on the last episode I said I will be starting with pottery farming, and that's what we are doing today. On this episode we are doing how to start a pottery farm and what factors to consider before starting a pottery farm, and we'll also look at maybe why do you want to start a pottery farm. That should be the first question if you really want to start a farm. So on to business. What is a pottery farm? What's pottery? What's all that thing? So poultry farming is keeping of birds for commercial purposes. So the most kept bird in Kenya or maybe in Africa is chicken. So we'll be dealing with that absolutely, and I think I'll do 2 or 3 episodes about poultry. So we start with we start with why start a pottery farm? Why do you want to start a pottery farm? If you want to, why? What is your reason? The reason behind the idea of starting a pottery farm. Did you see someone do it? Did you hear it's profitable? Why do you want to start a pottery farm? Number 1, some do it for financial gain. What is financial gain? Like for profits. If you want money, you have your money, you want to invest it somewhere so that it can grow, so you start a pottery farm. That is one reason as to why someone starts a pottery farm. Reason number 2 is to follow your passion. Following your passion. If you have a passion in chicken rearing, in duck rearing, in turkey rearing, like what is your passion? Even if you want to start any other kind of business, let's say a boutique, that for that case what other business? A hair salon. It's your passion, it's in you. So likewise, some start pottery farming because it's their passion. You know, birds like chicken, they're therapeutic. You can keep birds like for your passion. If it is your passion, you keep birds, you keep chicken, you keep ducks, whatever type of bird you want to keep, because it is your passion. Number 3, to follow your career path. What is your career? Some, like for me, I did agriculture, so that's my career. So definitely I'll start a pottery farm because that is my career path. I can't be teaching you about poultry, about agriculture while I'm not venturing into it. So I have to do it because it is my career. So many agriculturists have either a poultry farm, a pig farm, anything to do with agriculture because it is their career. So you will also definitely like to do it if you join the agriculture sector. Number 4, it's legacy. What's legacy? Like, you know, many businesses around here, around Kenya, around, you know, of many people who have grown into big brands. So likewise, if you start a pottery farm, you can start your own pottery farm, maybe with even 20 chickens or 10, and you continue growing. Finally, you see yourself like manufacturing your own feeds, manufacturing feeds for other companies. You become a big company, you become a big farm. So that's why you will be creating job for other people. You'll be doing everything in your farm. So that's why you'll be known by many people, and that's will farm of yours, that company of yours will grow generation to generation. So that's legacy. You'll keep your own legacy. So I think those are the most reasons as to why people start poultry farming. Okay, so what factors do you consider? Let's go to number 2. What factors do you consider when starting a poultry farm? Factors to consider. Number 1 is the type of bird you want to keep. And in our case, we have said it's already chicken. So you can keep any type of bird. So you have to know what type of bird do you want to keep before starting any poultry farm. Number 2, the other factor that you should consider is the market. What is the market like for chicken? What is the market like? Like most of the people nowadays, let me say, most of the families, if you don't eat chicken once or twice in a week, most of them do. Most of people do. You eat chicken twice or once a week, or even thrice a month. It's like, so you see, many people eat chicken because it's white meat. It's not red meat. Red meat have some. I'm not a scientist, but I hear of something of the sort. White meat is the best considered to red meat. So people do poultry farming without considering the fact the market of, or any other business. You can start any other business without considering the market. What's your market like? So you should consider that. You should definitely consider that. Okay. Number 3, the other factor that you should consider is your availability. How available are you? Poultry farming is not just a white collar job that you go and sit in an office, or that you go and make phone calls, and income just pop to your account, pop. No, poultry is not that. If you have to start a poultry farm, you have to be available. When I say available, I mean physically available in a poultry farm if you want to run it well. Okay, many people employ their managers and workers and everything. Even if you have 15 workers and you have a manager, you have a financial advisor, you have everything, you still have to be there to look at your poultry farm, to look at your records, your everything. So but in poultry farming, you have to be there, you have to be available. So you have to look, am I available? Do I have another job, a 9-to-5 job? If I have a 9-to-5 job, I can wake up early in the morning, check my chickens, check if they are okay. If they are okay, I leave the workers to do their work. I make sure that the workers have given my chicken food, water, then I go to job. After going to job, on 5, when I return, I go check my chicken. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, that is very appropriate. You can still do poultry farming. But if you are far, I don't think poultry farming can do. Maybe if you have a very trusted person in that farm. Yeah, that's where you can run it. The next one is location. Where are you locating your farm? Where is the site? Where do you want to keep your chicken? Like, location, it matters a lot. In terms of, like, you see, water source. Chicken need a lot of water per day. Daily intake of chicken is very high. Water, like daily intake. The chicken take a lot of water because they feed on mash, like mash feed. So they have to take water, a lot of water. So your site, your farm should be near a source of water, or else you dig some wells or something like that, have reserve tanks, something of the sort. So location is very important in terms of water, in terms of infrastructure. Your farm should be accessible, very, very accessible in all weathers, dry, rainy, every weather. Your farm should be accessible. What else? What else in location? In terms of location, your products, like eggs. If you're keeping your need for eggs, if your products should be taken to the market, let's say daily. If you have many chicken, if you have a very big poultry farm, you have to take to the market the products. You have to take them to the market. So you have to locate your farm where it is easily accessible on daily, in any weather. You have to make sure your products have reached the market in time and in good condition. The other thing you have to consider is the government regulations. I think that is in every business. You have to consider the government regulations, the government policy. You have to consider them, because you can't just start a business. This is Kenya. You have to do whatever it takes to start it. That doesn't include the small scale farming. No. If you want to open a large farm, a company, that's when you have to do the right thing with the government. You have to do. This is Kenya. You know that. Then the production system. What production system do you want to do in your farm? What production system? When I say production system, I know you people, like many of you, if you are an agriculturist, you know what I mean. If not, and you're looking to start a poultry farm, I'll explain to you, girl. You see, a production system might be, if you want to do it in a free range. Free range is when you release the birds and they feed anywhere, like in your field, and then after you release them, maybe you feed them again in another like in feeds. So we have free range, we have battery cage, we have deep litter system. So in a deep litter system, it's where you have a house. Of course, you've built a structure for your chicken, but they are all there. You put the, not sawdust, the wood shavings, yes, wood shavings on the floor so that the chicken will not be cold on their feet. So you put the wood shavings and the chicken are there. You put the water, the feeders there, everything. And then there's a battery cage that comes in cages. That is the easiest if you have money. If you don't have money, you can do cage, because cages are very expensive. So like, I think it is the simplest, easiest, but it is expensive. So yeah, you have to decide on which production system you want to do. That is a factor you should consider. Then I know everybody, like, you have to consider the availability of capital, the capital that you have, maybe in cash at the bank. You have to consider it. If you want to start a poultry farm, a small poultry farm, you can start with 20 birds, 200 birds, 1,000, 10,000, depending on your capital. But if you don't have capital, there's so many ways to get capital. Maybe I'll do that for you. I'll do a video as just a little bit of how you can get capital to start a poultry farm. So you have to consider the capital that you have. Another thing that you have to consider is, what are you keeping the birds for? When I say that, I mean the chicken. What are you keeping them for? Are you keeping them for egg? Are you keeping them for meat? Are you keeping them for other processing what am I even saying? Are you keeping them for eggs, for meat? So if you're keeping your birds for egg, so you have to look for the layers, specifically the layers. If you're keeping them for meat, you have to look for the broilers. I think both of them are profitable, but for broilers you'll only take 1.5 months or 5 weeks and you'll sell your chicken. But for the layers you have to wait for 6 months for them to start laying eggs. So if you don't have a big amount of money, I think you should start with broilers, because broilers will like take 5 weeks and then you start selling. So you'll have money to run your farm. You'll have money to run your farm. But for the layers, you have to have the feeds for the 6 months. Everything for the 6 months you have to, because within the first 6 months there's no money before you start selling your eggs. So I guess that is typically it, and I think on the next episode I'll do the requirements. What do you require to start a poultry farm? I'll do that for you. So in the meantime, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, help me grow, and I'll give you some tips. I'll continue giving you tips on how to do poultry, on how to do any agriculture venture. If you want to do horticulture, if you want to do anything, I'll definitely do all those episodes.